So today we're going to talk about the 7 quiet ways a covert narcissist drains your energy and why you cannot feel it while it's happening. And I will expose exactly how they do it and how to take your energy back. By the end of this session, you will spot every quiet way they drain you, and you will know how to hold on to your own energy again. Hi, my name is Lisa A. Romano. I'm the Breakthrough Life Coach, and for over 20 years, I've helped thousands of adult children of dysfunction, children who were raised by narcissists or alcoholic parents who suffered emotional neglect, learn to self-heal from codependency and break free from narcissistic abuse. And today we're going to talk about how the narcissist drains you. A narcissist drain is draining your energy right now, and you cannot even feel it happening. They feed on you in silence, and the more drained you are, the stronger they become. And this is what they hope you never figure out. So let's start with the number one sign. The number one sign is this idea that the room changes the second they walk into it. So this is when the air gets heavy in the room and your body begins to go on high alert. You start scanning their face and their mood and the way that they move about the room before they even speak. That constant scanning is the very first drain on your system, dear one, and it runs all day. So what we want to do is name it. When you recognize that the scanning is the drain, you name it as a signal from your body. You don't see it as a flaw. That constant subconscious scanning is the very first sign of your day that you are being drained. And it runs quietly in the background like a software eating up your phone's battery. And once we become aware of it, this is when we can begin to make that shift. So here's the neuropsychological insight that can help you make that shift. So let's talk about why this hits someone with codependency or childhood emotional neglect so hard. And it comes down to hypervigilance and amygdala hijacking. And these are very real things. When you grow up in an emotionally unpredictable environment, your brain is learning. And it learns that predicting an adult's mood is a matter of emotional survival. So you developed hyper-tuned mirror neurons and a heightened amygdala response to micro-expression. This is why you're scanning. When a covert narcissist enters a room with heavy, unspoken tension, your brain, your nervous system, registers that subtle atmospheric change as a true potential threat. Yes, dear one, you are a walking energy tower, emitting and receiving energy. When you sense a narcissist in the room, your body is letting you know. This is when you enter a low-grade fight or flight state. This is when your nervous system dumps cortisol and adrenaline into your bloodstream just to help you scan for safety. It's important that you think about this idea that you're not just thinking, your body is burning real physical energy, simply trying to anticipate what might happen next. And here is how you can recognize it and start protecting yourself. Recognize what's happening and how to better protect your energy in the moment. So you recognize, immediately name the scanning as a body signal, not just anxiety, but a legitimate signal. When you feel that sudden tightness in your chest or your stomach gets upset, you want to activate metacognition and whisper to yourself, my hypervigilance is firing because I feel unsafe. You want to claim the signal and name it. Second, you protect yourself. You bring awareness back into your own body. You practice somatic grounding. This is you slowly overriding the subconscious pattern narcissists created within you. So you lower your shoulders, you feel the soles of your feet on the floor, and you take a long, slow inhale and then exhale. And in this moment, you remind your brain, I'm an adult now. I'm safe in my body. And their mood is not my responsibility to scan, to manage, or fix. I can observe them, and I can observe my body's reaction and not do a damn thing. And why does their mood become your job to manage or react to in the first place? because somewhere you learned that keeping everyone else okay was how you stayed safe. It is the root cause of self-abandonment and codependency. Over 50,000 people have taken my free quiz to see whether codependency and negative childhood subconscious programming are quietly hurting their relationships and keeping them from a fulfilled, empowered, autonomous life. You can take the free quiz. The link is in the description. Number 2, another big sign that you're being drained is in what should be simple conversations that go in circles and they never get resolved. In the moment you don't notice that the topics keep twisting, the story keeps changing, their excuses get more dramatic, and the passive aggressiveness increases. This is you being drained. You just keep doing your best to keep up with the conversations, but you don't even realize you're being led into rabbit holes of crazy making. Nothing makes sense. You sit down to resolve a simple issue, but within 5 minutes, you're suddenly defending something that you said from 3 months ago. Or worse, you're feeling sorry for them because somehow you end up apologizing. You walk away feeling dizzy and full of self-doubt. You're doubting your own memory. This is classic crazy making. The confusion isn't a side effect of the conversation. The confusion is the entire point. Now, understand that confusing you keeps you engaged. It keeps you off balance and searching for a resolution that will never come. The confusion, dear one, that's the drain you might not immediately recognize, but you should. If you feel crazy or confused after talking to someone, and this happens repeatedly, you need to pay attention. Here's the neuropsychological insight that might help you shift, especially if you have trouble saying no, if you generally doubt yourself, if you're someone who generally seeks approval, or you have really negative inner self-talk due to emotional neglect or abandonment issues. You will want to understand why it is so hard for you to protect your energy from someone who is highly narcissistic and uses crazy making as a tactic against you. If you struggle with low self-worth, and especially if this manifests as codependency, these wounds, the wounds that reside at the subconscious level, leverage the cognitive dissonance and neural pathways of self-doubt. When you have a history of emotional neglect or consistent invalidation as a child, your brain was wired to prioritize their version of reality over your own internal knowing just to keep the peace. And dear one, that's not your fault. Until you can see this pattern, you stay in it and you cannot break it. That's why you feel stuck. When a covert narcissist shifts goalposts, your brain experiences cognitive dissonance, a stressful friction between what you know happened and what they are telling you happened. Because a codependent brain fears rupture or rejection, it defaults to neuroplastic pathways of self-invalidation. Maybe I misremembered it. Maybe I was being too harsh. Maybe I should just let this go. So here's what you have to understand about the drain. Resolving cognitive dissonance by doubting yourself, this burns immense mental energy and creates profound brain fog. You're erasing your reality. That's draining you, not empowering you. So here's what you can do to recognize this, that it's actually happening, and how you can begin to protect yourself. Number 1, simply recognize it. Realize that confusion around one specific person again and again is data. It's not a lack of clarity on your part. It's not that you're not trying hard enough. It's an intentional tactic on their part. Number 2, you got to protect yourself. Practice dropping the need to reach mutual understanding with someone committed to misunderstanding you. Some people are just born to not hear you. Practice the one and done rule. State your truth clearly once, and when the circular twisting begins, step out. That's it. Tap off, tap out, step off. You do not need their validation or agreement to validate your own memory. When that clicks, you'll be a lot better off. Number 3. Now, let's talk about how you are being drained by the silent treatment and the cold shoulder. Have you ever noticed a pattern of feeling as if you're being punished after you look to resolve an issue, even if it's a minor conflict? Instead of feeling like you can actually get from point A to point B with someone, they go quiet. They withhold warmth. They offer you 1 or 2 word short answers to your questions, or they walk around with an icy edge. And if you are being drained and don't know it, instead of living your life, you spend your entire day replaying the past interactions. Internal dialogue like, what did I say? Was it my tone? Did I do something wrong? You start chasing them. You start fawning after approval. You start over-explaining yourself or over-apologizing, or you backpedal on your boundary. You start walking on eggshells, trying to repair a break that you did not create. Dear one, hear me. The chasing, the fixing, the people-pleasing, the begging them to talk to you, that is the drain. Now, here is an important neurological insight any person struggling with codependency or self-abandonment should take to heart. Super important because this is all neurological. The silent treatment does not register as emotional abuse to someone who is codependent. It feels like torture, and you feel responsible for fixing or ending it. Social rejection and emotional isolation activate the dorsal anterior cingulate cortex, the exact same region of the brain that processes physical pain. Because codependents often grew up in environments where emotional disconnection posed a real threat to their safety, their nervous systems built neural superhighways in the DACC. As a result, when a covert narcissist gives a codependent the cold shoulder, the DACC fires intensely, triggering an automatic panic response that drives the codependent to fawn, to fix, or over-explain, just to stop the pain signal. I have been there so many times, dear one. When someone you care about abruptly emotionally detaches, your brain registers it as an acute threat to your safety and belonging. For an adult child of dysfunction, silence triggers primal abandonment fear. The panic you feel isn't you being dramatic. It's a physiological, neurochemical reaction driving you to fix the rupture, to stop the pain. And that, dear one, is not your fault. Now, here is how you can recognize this is happening and how to protect your energy. Number 1, you notice. Notice their silence. Notice when they're giving you the cold shoulder. And remember, this is not an invitation to fix them. It's a passive-aggressive tool designed to make you pursue them, so don't do it. Protect yourself. Return the burden. When they give you the cold shoulder, pause and remind yourself their silence belongs to them. It is theirs to carry, not mine. I no longer need to chase people who want me to chase them. This metacognitive moment can help you interrupt the pattern of seeking approval from someone who was born to disapprove of you. Focus that energy back on self-soothing your anxious nervous system instead of chasing or trying to melt their ice. Sign number 4. They compliment you with a rusty, crooked hook. You look great for once. That meal was actually good. I'm surprised you pulled that off. It's praise wrapped around a small, buried cut. You're left feeling grateful and diminished in the exact same second, and you're confused. And here comes the drain. You then burn for hours, cognitive energy analyzing whether or not they meant it, whether or not you're reading too much into this. Dear one, that's the drain. The rumination and the loops of conversations you can't stop because you're unsure of what they meant by their so-called compliment, that's the drain. You didn't imagine that you just got cut. The hook was placed there intentionally to keep you seeking their approval while lowering your self-worth. Now, here's the thing. When they keep you off balance, trying to figure them out is where they need you to be. They want you stewing in the energy of wondering what they actually meant. I want to share the neuropsychological insight that I think you need to understand. Let's talk about why this is so effective against someone who is dealing with insecurities, feeling not good enough, someone who's grown up with emotional neglect. This is effective because it exploits intermittent reinforcement and dopamine loops. When you grew up hungry for validation, small crumbs of praise release a quick hit of dopamine in your brain's reward center. However, when that praise is paired with a backhanded insult, it creates an unpredictable reward pattern. Your brain enters a hyper-focused state, trying to analyze the signal, trying to figure out how to get the pure praise next time while avoiding the sting. This neurochemical push and pull hyperfixates your focus on them, draining your cognitive bandwidth. Now, pay attention here. What is happening inside your own mind is the drain. And we have to interrupt that pattern in order to break free. So here is how you can begin to reclaim some of that energy right now. Number one, recognize. Learn to spot the hook immediately. Pure compliments make you feel elevated. They elevate your soul. Hooked compliments leave a slight sting in your gut. Pay attention when you are left wondering what someone actually meant. Number two, protect yourself. Do not swallow the hook. When you receive a covert insult disguised as praise, do what you can, dear one, not to analyze it or defend yourself. Give a brief neutral response like thank you, or simply nod, and do not spend your precious energy moving forward deciphering poison wrapped in sugar. This is where we see it, we acknowledge it, and we don't allow the mind to get hooked. Then be proud of yourself. Be proud of this mental and emotional win. Number five, they play the victim so you become the caretaker. Do you know someone who, no matter what you were discussing, the conversation normally takes a turn in which they hijack the conversation about their pain? The type of person I'm referring to is unique in the intention. The conversations become about their hard day, their pain, their story. And they can't see you as a person with your own pain and your own story. Every dynamic about their hard day, their past wounds, their physical ailments, or how unfair the world is to them, that's what you're going to have to listen to, even though they started the conversation off focusing on you. They paint themselves as the tragic hero or the perpetual victim. And because you are empathetic, you jump in, you soothe, you over-listen, you over-function, you work to solve their problems. You help them to manage their fragile emotions and their perceptions of reality. But here's the problem. Your own feelings, your own needs, your own boundaries quietly dissolve. That overfunctioning is the emotional supply that they feed on. Dear one, your overfunctioning is draining you. That's the drain. So here's the neuropsychological insight that you can benefit from. And here's why adult children of alcoholics or narcissistic parents, those who were raised by emotionally immature parents, are so drawn in by people who want them to take care of them. This is rooted in parentification and learned codependent conditioning. If you had to emotionally caretake a parent as a child, your neural pathways linked your own sense of safety and worth to your ability to regulate other people. When a covert narcissist acts helpless or victimized, it triggers your deeply wired fawning reflex, an automatic nervous system response designed to alleviate guilt and keep you feeling valuable. Your brain misinterprets taking care of them as your primary role, making you sacrifice your own energy reserves to rescue them. This is the epitome of self-abandonment. And here's how to recognize it and begin protecting your energy. Again, simply recognize. Notice when you feel an urgent compulsion-like pull to fix someone else's emotional state or life problems, and then shutty. Don't do anything. Just pause. Next, protect. Practice emotional detachment with love. Remind yourself they are an adult, and they are capable of handling their own emotions and their own lives. Rescuing them keeps them stuck, and it keeps me drained, angry, and resentful. I prefer to maintain and rebuild my energy stores so I have more to give to myself and to the world in empowering, healthy ways. This is you stepping out of the rescuer role. When they launch into victim mode, listen calmly without stepping into the arena to solve it for them. Number 6, they are one person in public and someone else at home. To the outside world, they are warm, they're hilarious, they're generous, and they're charming. Oh, they're so generous. Everyone tells you how lucky you are to have them. I love your mother, she's so sweet. But the second the front door closes behind you, the mask drops. They turn cold or critical, they become indifferent, or they start giving you the silent treatment. You end up carrying two completely different versions of the same human being, and nobody outside your home has ever met the second persona. Now, here's the drain. Holding a heavy truth that no one else sees or believes is profoundly isolating. It's exhausting and completely invisible from the outside. No one knows this is what you're holding. You're holding the truth. You know that no one else will understand or believe. Dear one, that is draining you in the background. And why is this psychological burden so heavy for someone who experienced childhood emotional neglect or has been raised by a narcissistic parent? It reactivates gasping for reality validation and deep isolation trauma. Childhood neglect creates a core fear that your subjective experience isn't real or it doesn't matter. It's not important. When a partner or family member exhibits a split persona, your brain is forced to process two conflicting realities simultaneously. The social isolation of knowing others see them as wonderful creates severe psychological isolation within you, and nobody can see it. You burn massive energy constantly holding and evaluating your own reality against the world's perception of this person that they know and you know. And this leads to profound mental burnout. Now, here's how to help protect your energy. Dear one, again, simply recognize what's happening. Accept that the mask that they wear in public is an act, it's a performance. And the coldness behind closed doors, that is an indicator of their true capacity or limits of intimacy. It's not about you. Then protect your energy. Stop looking to the outside world to validate what you are experiencing in private. You do not need a panel of judges or mutual friends to agree with your experience for it to be real. No more wondering or caring what other people think or feel. Validate your own reality. And here's the clincher. You're the only one living both sides of that coin. You're the only person exposed to both sides of their persona. Trust that. Your experience is your reality. Build a support network outside their circle of influence, a coach, therapist, or safe group who understands covert dynamics. Number 7, defending yourself against things that you never did. Oi. Have you ever found yourself defending yourself over and over for something that you never said, something that you never did? You find yourself 20 minutes deep into an argument, breathlessly explaining and correcting, showing receipts and saying, no, that isn't what I said, or that wasn't my intention, or no, that never happened. Stop saying it happened. You aren't even having a normal conversation anymore, and you don't even know how you got there, but suddenly you feel like you're filing a legal defense brief. And the craziest part, they haven't even oftentimes directly accused you of anything concrete that you can point to. So they do this by using subtle projection or heavy sighs and implications to put you on the witness stand. Now, why do codependents or trauma surviving individuals fall into this conversational trap so easily? To understand this, we have to go pretty deep. We have to understand the threat response to toxic guilt and shame-based core beliefs. If you grew up with an implicit message that everything was your fault, Your subconscious mind carries a deep core belief of toxic shame, a baseline feeling that you are inherently flawed or you're constantly in trouble. I still feel that sometimes. A covert narcissist uses subtle projection to activate that latent shame. Your brain perceives the implicit accusation as a threat to your integrity and connection, triggering a frantic fight-explain response. You burn energy trying to prove that you're sincere, or you're trying to prove your goodness to someone who is actively using your defensiveness to keep you flustered. The more you explain, the more they eye roll, the more exasperated you become. And here's how to protect yourself and hopefully start breaking this pattern. Again, recognize it. The moment you catch yourself over-explaining or defending your character, or someone's put you on the defense, or you're correcting false premises, I want you to stop. This interrupts the pattern. And then you are to move into protection mode. This is you adopting the mantra JADE. Do not justify, argue, defend, or explain. When they launch an implicit accusation, step back and say calmly, I know who I am, and I don't need to defend my intentions here. Then end the discussion. The key phrase I use for this one is pass the butter. Like, I'm not willing to talk about it anymore. So here is what I want you to carry in your heart today. You're not crazy. You're not overly sensitive, and you're not broken. You were programmed. Your body was telling you the truth all along if you've been dealing with a covert narcissist. Every time you felt that sudden fatigue, that knot in your gut, or the mental fog after interacting with the covert narcissist, and I don't care if it's your mother, your father, your sister, your brother, or a guru, your nervous system was simply trying to signal that your life force energy was being quietly siphoned away. You do not have to prove what they are doing to them or anyone else. You do not have to win the argument. You do not have to convince them to see your worth or to admit how much they're hurting you. You just have to see it. Once you see the game, you can stop playing the game. Once you recognize the drain, you stop giving your energy away to things and people that demand you shrink yourself to keep them comfortable, or to keep them in your company. Healing self-abandonment and codependency is learning to trust what you feel. Your feelings aren't a weakness. They are your internal guidance system pointing you back home to your true self. You just need to be taught how to trust and honor your feelings again. The exciting news is that these are insights that you can actually learn, but insight alone is not enough. You need a framework that you can cling to and work with repeatedly while updating your nervous system, confronting and interrupting faulty patterns, and updating your subconscious mind and what your subconscious mind believes. And yes, repetition is required when building a new subconscious identity and set of healthy beliefs. It won't work without repetition. If the wisdom and the insights I've shared today, if they resonate with you, come and check out my 12-week breakthrough coaching program. This program has been endorsed by Robin Bryman, a clinical psychologist, who says that her patients, once they use this program, they come out of this program much more grounded, much more self-aware, and they have a much more integrated sense of self, which is so exciting. So when you're dealing with healing from codependency and narcissistic abuse, yes, you have to understand narcissistic abuse, but you have to understand the codependent, the person who lacks a sense of self. And that's what this coaching program offers you. I created it specifically for adult children of dysfunction who grew up feeling emotionally neglected, who grew up feeling invisible and unseen and unheard. It is level 1 of the Above the Veil method, and it is exactly how I teach people to change the survival codes that they had no other choice but to rely on when they were powerless and dependent children. I will teach you how to awaken. I will teach you how to reparent yourself. I will teach you how to rewrite the subconscious programs running underneath your life. I will give you the tools you needed and deserved as a child so you can finally become the authority of your own life. No more hiding the self. In 12 weeks, we unleash the self. Over 5,000 adult children across my courses and my breakthrough community are learning to self-heal. Dear one, you can too. To learn more or to start today, the link is in the description below, and I will see you on the inside. Namaste until next time.